In 1999, Jerry Seinfeld bought a brownstone on Manhattan's Upper West Side, not to live in, to park his cars. He converted a former plumbing business into a 3-story subterranean garage, descending below street level, climate-controlled, secured by live camera feeds he can access from his phone, staffed by a dedicated fleet management team, and built with an elevator to move cars between floors. The garage holds approximately 150 vehicles. Its estimated construction cost, $1.4 million. Behind an unremarkable door sits one of the world's most extraordinary private collections. Its contents are estimated to be worth more than $500 million, including rare Porsches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, and other coveted automobiles. The address is known to the neighbors. What remains a mystery to many is what lies behind the door, a hidden treasure trove of automotive history, performance, and luxury. This is the world of the private automotive collection, one of the most deliberately invisible subcultures inside extreme wealth. The people who accumulate the most extraordinary cars are, with rare exceptions, not the people posting about them. They are building climate-controlled rooms beneath their addresses, installing robot elevators in their skyscrapers, acquiring former aircraft hangars near commercial airports, and stacking $20 million machines in formations that no insurance company can see. Today we are going underground for a different reason. Not survival. Art. No brochure voice. No fantasy math. Just the garages, the collections, and the philosophy of accumulation at the level where cars stop being cars and start being cultural artifacts. Listen, stay to the end, because the final collection we'll visit is the one that no one has the address for, a facility in Bedford, New York, containing what auction professionals estimate to be the single most valuable private automobile accumulation on Earth. A billion-dollar collection in the hands of one person, behind a door that most people alive do not know exists. Let's go inside. The brownstone. The brownstone Seinfeld bought in 1999 sits near his home on Central Park West. The conversion from plumbing supply business to private automotive sanctuary required extensive structural work. The building descends 3 floors below ground level, with 4 separate garage bays and an elevator to move cars between levels. Subterranean climate-controlled storage for approximately 150 vehicles. An 850-square-foot living quarters built into the structure. A club room with a pool table, a kitchenette, an office, and a bathroom. Because when you own $500 million worth of vintage cars, sometimes you want somewhere to sit with them. A live camera system accessible from a smartphone application, allowing Seinfeld to check on his cars at any hour from anywhere in the world. A fleet management team whose full-time job is maintaining, cleaning, and monitoring the vehicles in his care. The collection has been assembled over more than 4 decades, beginning with the purchase of a black 1988 Porsche 911 Carrera, a car he still owns. At its peak, the collection held 46 Porsches, what is known to be inside. The first 911 ever produced, commissioned as Ferdinand Porsche's personal car. A 1949 Porsche 356/2, chassis number 40 of 52, hand-built in Gmünd, Austria, one of only 30 still in existence. A 1972 Porsche 908/03, which he considers his most treasured possession, a race-winning car from the Targa Florio in Sicily. In 2016, Seinfeld auctioned 18 cars through Gooding & Company, generating $22.2 million in sales. The 1955 Porsche 550 Spider alone fetched $5.35 million. He describes selling it with characteristic precision, the automotive equivalent of driving a sonnet by Shakespeare or a symphony by Beethoven. A prototype Porsche Carrera GT, estimated between $1.5 million and $2 million, did not sell. He kept it. The garage, as of early 2026, remains unmarked from the street. His neighbors walk past it daily. The fleet management team is inside. The hangar, 3 miles from the Hollywood Burbank Airport. At 3160 North Damon Way in Burbank, California, there is a complex of aircraft hangars covering nearly 2 full city blocks, approximately 140,000 square feet that is not open to the public. Inside, 181 cars, 160 motorcycles, a full machine shop, welding stations, and a restoration facility capable of fabricating parts that no longer exist in any catalog on Earth. This is Jay Leno's Big Dog Garage. And unlike Seinfeld's deliberate opacity, Leno has documented almost every inch of it on his Emmy-winning YouTube series, making it the most thoroughly cataloged private collection in the world. And, paradoxically, still one of the most staggering to encounter at scale. The collection spans from a 1904 curved-dash Oldsmobile to a Koenigsegg Regera. Between those 2 points, a 1934 Duesenberg Walker Coupe, one of a kind, estimated at $20 million. A 1994 McLaren F1, the first ever imported to the United States, purchased in 1994 for $800,000, now worth approximately $20 million. That's a 2,400% return over 30 years, an appreciation rate that outperforms virtually every financial instrument available to a retail investor. A 1963 Chrysler turbine car, one of 9 surviving from 55 built, powered by a jet turbine engine that runs on virtually any combustible liquid, including vegetable oil. A Blastoline Special powered by a 29-liter M47 patent tank engine. Estimated total value about $300 million. Insurance alone exceeds $1 million per year. The maintenance burden prompted Leno to develop his own commercial line of car care products, now sold on Amazon, because when the cleaning bill gets high enough, you start a company. The critical distinction between Leno's collection and almost every other private accumulation of this scale, he drives them. Every vehicle in the Big Dog garage is maintained in running condition. The McLaren F1, offered $17 million by a buyer and refused, gets driven. A 19th century steam car and a 21st century hypercar, both operational, both on the same floor of a former aircraft hangar in Burbank. Leno's position on the purpose of the collection is stated simply: it is not investment. It is automotive history, preserved and functional. If you buy a car and never drive it, he has said, you don't really own it. The car owns you. The Sky Garage, at the opposite end of the privacy spectrum from Seinfeld's unmarked brownstone door, and the literal opposite end of the vertical axis from underground storage, sits a 60-story tower in Sunny Isles Beach, Miami. That solved the parking problem by building the car collection into the apartment. The Porsche Design Tower, completed in 2016 by developer Gil Deezer in partnership with Porsche Design Group, contains 132 residential units starting at approximately $5 million. Its defining feature, patented by Deezer and named the Deservator, is a fully automated car elevator that collects residents from the ground floor while seated inside their vehicle and delivers them, car and occupant, simultaneously directly to a glass-enclosed private garage adjacent to their living room. The journey takes 75 seconds. Once the car arrives, it is positioned inside a Sky Garage, a glass-walled enclosure visible from the apartment's interior. Residents can stand in their living room and look at their cars. Deezer's design philosophy, offered to CNN in a single sentence: if you're an art collector, you put art on the wall. So why not put the car in your living room? Standard units accommodate 2 to 4 vehicles. The penthouse, listed at $32.5 million, accommodates a 4-car Sky Garage. The residents do not interact with valets, do not use public parking infrastructure, and are not observed entering or departing the building by anyone they have not chosen to encounter. The Deservator is not merely a parking solution. It is a privacy architecture. The building generated $840 million in total sales. It is already being replicated. The Bentley Residences Miami, scheduled for completion in 2026, will feature the same technology at 61 stories, starting at $4.2 million. The myth: the Deservator is a luxury parking feature. The truth: the Deservator is a surveillance elimination system. In 75 seconds, you travel from the street to your living room without being seen by a valet, a doorman, a lobby camera, or another resident. No one knows when you arrive. No one knows when you leave. No one knows who was in the car with you. The parking is incidental. The invisibility is the product. Quick question before we visit the final collection. Which storage philosophy appeals to you more? A. Seinfeld's approach, an unmarked brownstone with the collection underground and invisible. Or B. The Porsche Design Tower, where the car's in the living room and the arrival is automated, but the building is a public landmark? Drop A or B in the comments. The Bedford facility. Listen, this is the collection that reframes every other entry in this video. Ralph Lauren is not a billionaire who talks about his cars. He is a billionaire who is, by the assessment of every serious auction house and collector that has studied his accumulation, almost certainly the owner of the single most valuable private automobile collection on Earth. Lauren began collecting in the 1970s. His philosophy is the same one that drives his fashion. Not investment, not display, but detail. The cars he pursues are the ones where the engineering exists at a level that most people looking at the exterior cannot see. The collection is housed in a private facility in Bedford, New York, a town in Westchester County, approximately 45 miles from Manhattan. The facility is not publicly identified by address. The staff do not discuss it. The insurance arrangements are not public. The total value has been estimated by auction professionals using comparable market transactions at somewhere around the $1 billion mark, making it, if those estimates hold, the most valuable concentration of privately owned automobiles in the world in the hands of a single individual. What the collection is known to contain, assembled from the rare occasions when Lauren has exhibited vehicles at concours events. A 1938 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic, one of 4 ever built. 2 are in museums. 1 disappeared during the Second World War. Lauren's is one of perhaps 2 drivable examples in existence, with comparable examples traded privately at figures exceeding $30 million. A 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, one of 36 ever produced. The single most sought-after model in the collector car market. The last public auction example sold for $51.7 million in 2018. A 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupe. When one was auctioned in 2022, it became the most expensive car ever sold publicly at 135 million euros. Lauren already owns one. He did not bid, he did not need to. The collection is not shown for tours. It is not photographed without his approval. It is maintained by a private curatorial team in a facility that, for most of the year, does not formally exist in the public record. Individual vehicles are brought out for the most prestigious concours d'élégance events in the world. Pebble Beach, Villa d'Est, Salon Privé, where they win awards, generate photographic records, and then disappear back through the Bedford gates. The total collection, the facility, the staff, the curatorial operation, none of it is priced publicly, which may be exactly the point. The vault. The Peterson Coda is a structural surprise, a contrast that reframes every private collection that preceded it. It functions as the Crescent Scripts myth/truth pair applied at section scale. The assumption, rarest things are behind the heaviest doors, is inverted. Not every extraordinary collection is entirely private. The Peterson Automotive Museum on Wilshire Boulevard in Los Angeles, the largest automotive museum in the United States, displays approximately 300 vehicles in its public galleries. The other half of its holdings, rotated out of exhibition or never placed on display, are held in the museum's basement. They call it the vault. The vault contains more than 500 vehicles. A Mercedes-Benz that belonged to Saddam Hussein, President Clinton's golf cart, a 1925 Rolls-Royce with a round door, salvaged from a New Jersey junkyard, a 1957 Jaguar XKSS once owned by Steve McQueen, an operational 1963 Chrysler turbine car, award-winning hot rods, concept cars that never reached production, head of state limousines from administrations that no longer exist. Today it is accessible for a $48 ticket, a 90-minute self-guided tour. The vehicles are real, the provenance is documented. The Peterson Vault, with its 800 vehicles and its documented provenance, is more accessible than any single unit in the Porsche Design Tower, more accessible than the Bedford facility, and considerably more accessible than the 3 underground floors of a Manhattan brownstone on the Upper West Side. The myth. The rarest things in this world are behind the heaviest doors. The truth. Sometimes they are behind the most ordinary ones. A $48 ticket on Wilshire Boulevard puts you in the same room as a Steve McQueen Jaguar and a dictator's Mercedes. The Bedford facility, with its estimated $500 million in contents, has no ticket price at all, because no amount of money will get you through the gate. The underground garage where billionaires hide their car collections is not one place. It is a philosophy applied across basements, aircraft hangars, sky garages at altitude, and Bedford estates in whatever form the collector requires. Seinfeld keeps 150 Porsches behind an unmarked door on a Manhattan residential street, checked via smartphone from wherever he happens to be. Leno keeps 181 cars and 160 motorcycles in 140,000 square feet of former airport hangar in Burbank, maintained by a team that can fabricate parts no manufacturer still produces. The residents of the Porsche design tower ride their cars to their living rooms in 75 seconds without a valet, without a photograph, without being seen. Lauren keeps what may be the most valuable private automotive collection on Earth in a Bedford facility that most people alive do not know the address of. The cars in these collections are not merely vehicles, they are art. Objects whose value derives not from their utility, but from their scarcity, their provenance, and the discipline required to acquire them before the market arrived at the same conclusion. A 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, purchased for a figure that seemed astronomical at the time, is now worth $51.7 million at auction and more in private. A McLaren F1 bought in 1994 for $800,000 has appreciated to $20 million in the same period that a stock market index would have returned a fraction of that gain. The garage is not hiding the cars. The garage is protecting the investment. The privacy is not concealment, it is curation. Which collection philosophy would you choose? Seinfeld's total invisibility, Leno's total documentation, or Lauren's total silence? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this series on the private worlds of extreme wealth is what you're here for, subscribe and click the like button for more content on the super rich.